Okay, I'm recording now.
Okay, so we're going to just go through the application, starting right from the beginning. What we have down here on the bottom is the SDI logo. If you click on that, that starts the application. And we'll just run through the buttons starting from left to right. That first button there up in the top, this is an incident button. When you tap on that, we have all the current incidents that are taking place within the city. It's important that we pick that incident button because the units that are going to display on the screen are the ones that are assigned to the units in CAD. Therefore, as you can see, there's a number of incidents taking place right now. If I were to select this incident, for instance, and hit confirm, we could see that the units that were assigned to that particular incident are the ones that are being displayed on the screen. I'm going to unselect that incident, however, so that we can run through our demonstration. And I just do that by selecting that incident and deselect. Find my incident. So that's the incident button. A list of all the incidents that are currently active in the city. And again, we want to pick that so that we know who's on my incident scene and are only filtering the radios that are assigned to that incident. The next is the channels button. What the channels button allows us to do is to pick the particular talk group that we're working on. In this particular case, we're just going to use a training channel, but whatever tag channel gets assigned to you is the channel that you're going to pick. When we select the tactical channel, we'll go to VGA 16, confirm.
Server connected. System connected.
When that takes place, a couple things. We have
Control
three
channel
green
one
lights.
connected.
Those three green lights show me that I'm connected between my device and the server that's back at HEC. I also get this tab, and it's got a green light there that shows that my control channel radio, whether it's a portable or it's the radio that's in the vehicle, is connected and it's on channel 16. Okay. When that's up, we see any of the radios that are on this channel by unit, SDI 3, riding position, and for Houston, you'll see the firefighter's name. Okay. So a couple things right off the bat. One is anytime a firefighter keys up their radio, we see it highlight blue. And we get the last transmission, SDI 3 Bravo. That's the radio that was keying up. So, very quick view. I could see if somebody's calling and can't make out who it is. I could look at this and make that determination. The other thing we have is the ability to see if that radio was shut off. When it's orange, we got the power down signal there. This radio was now shut off. So again, a visual, graphical depiction of whether or not the radio is on. I turn the radio back on and it comes back into the proper location. The other thing is that because you see that the radio is red text versus the black, this radio is not on the talk group that I'm monitoring. This is on Southeast TAC 16. Everything else is on VGTF 16. So by quick glance, I could tell that this radio is not on the talk group that we're working on.
Alpha, Bravo. Alpha, Charlie. Alpha, Alpha, Alpha.
Southeast TAC 16.
I just want to move it back over to where it needs to be. Not sure where it's at, but actually we'll leave it like that. We'll use that in a minute. So that's the channels button. I'm moving down here to the tactical alert button. The tactical alert allows us to send out a message as a group or specifically to individual radios. The first one I'm going to do is hit a group. By hitting the group, I select one of my 16 tactical alerts. In this case, we'll do number 5, which is a power request, and I'll send it out to that radio.
Power request.
Okay.
Power request.
We get the alert coming out over the radio.
Power request. Power request.
And
Power request.
what we see are everybody that logged back in to say that they received a power request. I'm not getting a green on SDI 3 Bravo radio because they didn't get that power request. We issued it on a different channel. Okay, and that's why it's like that. So I'm going to go ahead and end that. I want to show it to you one other way. Let's look at it from the standpoint that if I sent a tactical alert out as a group and not everybody received it.
Power request. Power request. Power request. Power request. Power request.
So in this case we have 2 radios that are still playing the power request. They did not receive that message as indicated here. And if I were to end the tactical alert now, and go to the resend button, it gives me a list of anybody that did not answer that power request. In the event that we have a big incident where I have 60, 70, 80 firefighter radios, I send out a power request and 90% of them all check in, but I got 10% that didn't. Instead of me trying to figure out who answered versus who didn't, by ending the tactical alert and going to the resend button, I'm going to get a quick list of whoever did not answer that power. I have the option of sending the same tactical alert or sending a new tactical alert. Because I picked number 5, as long as I go up in the hierarchy, I could send a new message to these 2 radios by saying, now I want you to exit the building. So I'm moving from 5 to 4. I'm going to hit confirm.
Exit building. Exit building.
And now the radios are playing a new
Exit building.
tactical
Exit
alert.
building.
And I check in on both of them. Okay. The other thing when it comes to tactical alerts is the ability to send a message to a select group of radios. In this case, I could say that I'm going to send a CAN report to the alpha radio of SDI 3 and confirm that.
CAN report.
So now, in this case, I'm
CAN
just
report.
sending a message to one radio for a specific message that I want them to follow. Okay. Moving across the top, so we talked about incidents, we talked about channels, we talked about tactical alerts. Moving over to benchmarks. Benchmarks allows me to pick an incident type and to bring up my tactical objectives for that incident. In this case, structure fire, I could do things like 360 was completed, fire attack is initiated, a primary search is initiated, and by going to the info view, I could see my elapsed time of how long we've been working this incident, right? So we initiated a fire attack at 14:54. We're still working on that. In quick view, I could tell how long we've been working a particular task on the fire ground, or when we get it completed. All this information is being logged so we can pull it and use it for post-incident analysis or for incident reporting. By hiding this, hitting the hide button, I see that I have a green ring around that benchmark, so I know I have my benchmarks open. I can go back to it and open it back up. The other option that we have is while we are working this structure file, if we get a Mayday, I can go to my Mayday button, and now there's a rundown of the things that we need to do, the tactical benchmarks for my Mayday. Again, we could keep track of all that. Just another graphical view of being able to help us manage the incident. Moving across the top in the views button, we have graphical or table. Right now this is graphical view. If I move to table view, table view is kind of like what you had in your gray system. You have a list of everybody that's operating at this incident. We have the companies on the right and then all the radios down the middle. The nice thing about this is as radios are keying up, whoever's at the top of the list is the last person that transmitted. So you can go back to that and look at it. The other thing that you'll be able to see, and we didn't have these radios in the charger for 24 hours, they've been out of the charger for more than 48 hours actually, and they lost their memory. But down this column, what you'll be able to see is the battery level for every radio that's operating on the fire incident. And again, if somebody's got a low battery and they're on Mayday and you're having a hard time communicating with them, at least you have some indication as to why that's happening. So going back to views, I like to keep it in the graphical view. The other thing about the view is this collapse all build button. By hitting the collapse all button, it shrinks everything to where I could fit more units on my screen and kind of get a better picture of the whole incident. The other button I want to go over is this add button. So in the add button, we have divisions or groups, and by picking a division or group, I can now organize my incident by dragging and dropping units to that particular division or group. In the event that SDI 4 married up with SDI 3, I want to pair those two together, I drop it inside like that. Okay. So this is a quick, easy way for us to organize our fire ground, put some divisions up there, and assign companies into those divisions or groups. In the custom view, I could type in any type of a division or group that's not already there. For instance, if I had an entry team. Now I just created this additional group, and I can move SDI 14 into my entry team. On the unassigned, by me tapping on that, I can give particular assignments to those those units. For instance, I'm going to assign these guys to fire attack. I'm going to assign this group to exposure building. The other piece that is helpful is this clock, this timer. If we want to use this as an air management component, an air management piece, by clicking on the timer, we could set a timer for that particular unit. So now timer's counting down. Once it gets to 0, it'll turn red and count up. So if it's red and counting up, we know that that's the elapsed time since we gave them that mark. Again, now moving back to my views. We covered benchmarks, we covered views. On scene allows us to put somebody on the scene in the event that we had CAD not keeping up with all the units that are being put on that record. Okay. And right now it's alphabetical. We're hoping to get that changed up, but I could go down to putting engine 25 on the scene by just clicking on them, and now we see that engine 25 is on my incident. Okay. Vice versa, if I had a unit that's on the scene that I don't want there anymore, I can go to my on scene button, and it takes a while because you have so many units. But once I have my units up there, I can go back to engine 25 and take them off the scene, and now they're gone. Okay, so that's what this on scene button does. The radio panel button, this is kind of like a search feature where I could type in